What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Too Good for Theaters video here. Today we're going to be talking about the Rhamondre Stevenson extension with the Patriots. I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the matter, so let's get right into it. So the Patriots front office continues the theme of this offseason so far in bringing back players who were productive for them, this time inking Rhamondre Stevenson to a 4-year, $36 million contract extension. Around $17 million of that $36 million will be in guaranteed money. The rest coming between a $8 million signing bonus as well as possible up to $12 million in incentives. I believe the incentives are based on total yardage as well as if Rhamondre makes a Pro Bowl or an All-Pro season. And this is a little bit of a risky deal for the Patriots here, especially longevity-wise. If it's a shorter contract, maybe like a 2-year deal, I can very well see this extension being a massive hit. But signing running backs to this second contract in this league right now is a very risky play. You typically only see the elite of the elite running backs kind of getting that second contract with the team that drafted them, or even potentially a second lucrative deal in terms of years with a different franchise. An example of this could be like Saquon Barkley with the Giants and then the Eagles, or even like a Jonathan Taylor. I know he was holding out last season with the Colts, just trying to get himself that contract extension here. And that's what Rhamondre Stevenson was able to accomplish through no holdouts. The Patriots really just saw him more so as being a productive guy. And especially with this offense that they're going to be running for this upcoming season, he's certainly going to be like the offensive hub to the Alex Van Pelt system. I kind of broke this down a little bit in my Jacoby Brissett video of what Alex Van Pelt typically likes to run in terms of scheme-wise and play-calling-wise, but it's going to be very similar to how he used Nick Chubb in Cleveland with Kevin Stefanski. Rhamondre Stevenson, also more so a bigger back, but a very elusive back, can make people miss, has very good side-to-side speed, and that's certainly going to really correlate into this offense rather well, and I feel like that's why the Patriots were able to kind of offer him that contract and really not have a lot of second thoughts on the matter. But like I said before, second contract for a running back here is a little bit of a risk, but hopefully this works out for the Patriots. And Rhamondre is one of my favorite players, so I'm very certainly happy to see him back in this Patriots uniform. But he's going to have a lot to live up by now, and he's got to continue that production that he really has produced for the Patriots these last couple of seasons. So taking a look into Rhamondre's time here in New England, obviously, he had his last season, the 2023 campaign, cut short with that high ankle sprain, but he was still able to rack up 156 carries on the year for 619 rushing yards, averaged around 4 yards per carry, ended the year with 4 touchdowns, forced 30 missed tackles, and in a key category that I feel like the Patriots really looked into was he averaged around 3 yards after contact last season. Obviously, with the faulty offensive line, that really became the offensive kryptonite last season. Rhamondre did a lot of work behind the line of scrimmage and made some plays that really shouldn't have been anything into something. And he really does a nice job of really showing off his elusiveness, especially for a bigger back like he does. He's able to really put his head down, make powerful plays, but also he just has really quick feet. So, he can juke that defender and get yards that way. And I feel like that kind of brings the versatility with what the Patriots kind of look for in Rhamondre. He can be a north-south runner, can be an east-west runner. I mean, he's just going to be kind of the offensive hub, like I said earlier in this video. But that doesn't even mean he's just a runner. Last season, he did a real nice job in the receiving game as well. He ended up with 38 receptions on 48 targets, had 238 receiving yards, only had 4 drops, and averaged around 7 yards per reception. Once again, just displaying the versatility, and I'll get into his 2022 campaign, but that can even further expand upon the versatility that he really brings. So his offensive grade for the 2023 campaign was around a 71, had a rushing grade of around a 79, a receiving grade that was actually lower than his previous seasons, but still not bad for a running back, a receiving grade of around 51. And something that he's really improved upon is his pass blocking. He ended his season with a pass block grade of around 72. And kind of just highlights how he's still working, still improving. Even if the areas around him aren't the best, he's still continuing to produce for the Patriots here. and just a real nice job by Rhamondre, and I feel like that's why the Patriots kind of rewarded him with this deal. 2022 campaign, some of his grades. He had an offensive grade of 81.3. I know his 2023 campaign was a little down, but I think that's just a measurement of the entire offense in its entirety. And even though the 2022 offense really kind of struggled, he was really the one bright spot of the 2022 offense. That's why his grades might be a little higher than his 2023 campaign. But as I said, offensive grade of 81. He had a rushing grade of 84, a receiving grade that was actually his highest of his career so far, and that being a 68, and a pass block grade of around a 65. He did make improvements this upcoming season, or the previous season in the 2023 campaign over 2022, so that's good. And his rookie season, obviously splitting time with Damian Harris. These grades might be a little higher just due to the lack of frequency that he was able to require touches for. But he had an offensive grade of 81, a rushing grade of 81 as well, a receiving grade of 61.8, and a pass block grade of 50.3. So really, you could kind of just see how Rhamondre is continuing to improve. Even though he is getting more workloadage, some of his numbers might be going down, but the productivity has been going up in terms of just yards and everything for the Patriots, and he certainly has become the highlighted focal point of this offense. So wrapping up this video, I kind of wanted to talk about Rhamondre's contract exclusively here and how it ranks amongst other NFL running backs across the league. But before we talk about that, I really want to talk about the state of the running back position and how I feel like this deal, Rhamondre's extension, as well as the Saquon Barkley deal with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Jonathan Taylor extensions, really are going to be kind of those era-defining contracts for running backs here in terms of more so specifically just how franchises kind of approach rewarding running backs with a second contract, whether that's the team that drafted them or potentially an outside team seeking to sign a free agent like the Eagles did with Saquon Barkley. But in particular, Rhamondre Stevenson, I feel like this deal might be the most influential because I believe he has the most years to his extension. I believe it is a 3 to 4 year extension here, and he's going to be playing into his either his 30th age season or his 31st age season. So I feel like this is going to be a deal that a lot of teams are going to be looking at in terms of durability-wise and productivity-wise. But more so for this deal, I feel like durability is going to be key for Rhamondre Stevenson. He's going to be the hub of the Patriots offense, so I think the productivity is always going to be there. He's going to be on the field a lot, and especially since he's able to kind of stay on the field in that third down range, he's going to be a threat out of the backfield in terms of receiving, as well as just being a very good rushing threat. And especially in the Alex Van Pelt system where a running back seems to be the hub of the offense, I think the productivity for Rhamondre is always going to be there. However, it's just going to be whether or not he's going to be able to stay healthy. Rhamondre's always kind of had these little nicks and these little injuries that might keep him out of a game or so. But he's coming off a season where he actually missed his most time in his career so far with that high ankle sprain. And while I don't think that really is going to play an impact into his upcoming health, I was surprised that the Patriots actually kind of really didn't take that into factor. We're not talking about a torn ACL or anything like that here. We're just talking about an ankle sprain, so it really shouldn't be taken into account, but it might just be something to be a little worried about in terms of this contract-wise. But like I said before, if Rhamondre is able to play out this contract and for the majority of it stay healthy, I think that this is really going to help future running backs kind of guarantee those second contracts and hopefully even get more money than Rhamondre Stevenson does here. But I think these are going to be one of those era-defining deals in terms of the Rhamondre Stevenson contract, the Jonathan Taylor contract, as well as the Saquon Barkley contract. But taking a look at more so into this season, Rhamondre Stevenson is actually getting paid the 7th highest among active running backs, trailing guys like Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, and Joe Mixon. All very good backs in front of him. I know there's some guys behind him like Derrick Henry, who I believe just signed a 1-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens, so that might be more so kind of just a prove-it deal. But there's some guys like Tony Pollard behind him as well, who you might say, Tony Pollard probably should be making more than Rhamondre Stevenson. As long as Rhamondre Stevenson's bordering that top 10 or even in that top 10. I feel like he's kind of getting ranked where he should amongst running backs. He's a very versatile back, and he's been very productive during his time here in New England whenever he's been on the field. So I feel like Rhamondre might be getting a little bit of an overpay right now. I do think this contract's a little bit front-loaded, which is fine with the Patriots because they're going to have a lot of cap space. But just as long as he's kind of bordering that top 10 range, I feel like the Patriots are getting him not as a financial steal, but they are kind of paying him right where he kind of belongs at, what he's due. And hopefully Rhamondre is able to stay healthy for the majority of this contract and keep up that productivity and even expand this game in terms of just even becoming even more of a threat out the backfield, or even gaining more muscle and stuff. Kind of, hopefully he can become even that Nick Chubb role that Alex Van Pelt really helped thrive in Cleveland. If Rhamondre really is able to kind of stay on that course, they're both very similar backs, so hopefully Rhamondre could kind of trend towards that area in terms of Nick Chubb's total productivity with Cleveland. And if that all goes into play here, I feel like running backs are going to get rewarded much more in the NFL, and the NFL franchises are going to seek to kind of get that redemption tour of running backs in terms of payment. So hopefully Rhamondre here is going to be able to set that precedent, and maybe the Patriots just made an era-defining move here. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this video here. Did the Patriots overpay a little bit? Possibly. But honestly, I'm just happy to see Rhamondre Stevenson back in the Patriots uniform. He's one of my favorite offensive players on the Patriots right now. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as the channel continues to grow, all of your feedback really just means a lot. So, thank you so much for watching. Much appreciated.